Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. And today I want to talk to you guys about why I think the education system is evil. And so I want to begin by talking about what it doesn't teach, right? I'm not so concerned about what it is teaching us, because obviously what it is teaching us is not valuable, because look at the state of affairs of people who graduate. You know, I feel like, I'd say a mere 5% of graduates nowadays actually go on to become somebody and change some sort of system or innovate something that's useful for humanity, right? Everyone else kind of just, you know, it's like, listen, you're told to get a degree, get a job, raise kids, have a nice family. That's all selfish. That's all just for your ego. That's all selfish. It's your parents and everyone who's told you to go to college is just concerned about them being a good parent and you being and you having a good life. They don't give a fuck about the rest of the world. And that's the wrong mindset that parents instill into us. It's the wrong mindset, because our goal as humans, as human beings, forever has always been survival of the tribe, the well-being of the tribe, right? It wasn't always just about one single person in the tribe and their well-being. It was about the whole collective, and that's what we're not focusing on in university and in education in general. It's all about, how can I get this degree, how can I get this job, and how can I have a good life. That's selfish as fuck. That is selfish as fuck. And so that's one thing that is like crucial, that doesn't get taught in university. How to be someone who impacts a good amount of human beings and changes, a good percentage of human beings, and hopefully evolves human consciousness to the next level, right? That's the goal. And it's just not taught. It's just not taught in the education system in university. So that's one thing. Another thing is, college is marketed towards young people, and they fall in the trap of going because they want to have fun and party and do all these things, right? I think it's said that on average a college student gets 4 hours of sleep every night, 4.5 hours of sleep every night. And what are they doing? They're up on their phone, texting, seeing what's good with their homies, chilling late at night, smoking, drinking, doing whatever every night of the week, and skipping class and completely wasting their time, right? And so you have this dynamic now where even on both sides of the spectrum, the people that are doing good in college and then the people who are kind of pissing off and fucking off, both of them are equally not doing the right thing. Because the people who are getting good grades and everything, most of them are still blind to the fact that they're just serving their ego and they're not helping the whole of humanity, right? So you have two sides that are both like flawed, right? And then you have like the 2 to 5% of people that actually graduate and actually go through college knowing what their purpose is, what they're gonna do. Maybe they don't know what they're gonna do, but they use their time to learn, to introspect, to contemplate, to make connections and do all these different things. And these are the people that we look up to now, right? And actually, most people we look up to now didn't even go to college, so that's another story. But anyways, so yeah, you have those two types of people, right? The people that are getting the good grades so they can get that degree, so they can go to med school, so they can get that great job as a doctor and support their family and have such a high status amongst their friend groups. This is all ego, right? All ego. And so those are just two character traits that I see in university. I don't really see the 2 to 5%. I'm not even putting myself on a pedestal or saying I'm all that, but I'm headed towards that, 5% right now, because I'm doing things that other people aren't doing. I'm reading outside of class. I'm learning other shit that I'm not being taught in the classroom, right? I'm using this time to spread wisdom here, shed some light via the internet, the most powerful tool in the 21st century. Something that a lot of college students don't really even consider getting into. It's just all about that job. And listen, here's the thing. College is like, it mattered way back in the 1940s, because at that time, I'm reading a book by Stefan Arnio, Hard Times Create Strong Men. He says that 3% of women and 3% of men went to college. So it was a big thing back then. But now, 50% of men graduate and 50% of women graduate, or something like that. So it's not so big of an accomplishment these days. And here's the thing: our parents, they want us to believe that we're so aesthetic, and we're so it's such a prestigious thing to go to college and graduate and do all these big things, right? And it's just, the main thing we need to learn as young kids is how to access higher intelligence, connect to the infinite intelligence of the universe, and think for ourselves and have a definiteness of purpose, right? Because if we have that, then we're not going to be distracted by all the bullshit, right? And here's another thing. All right? School, right? It teaches you to feel bad about yourself when you don't do good on a test, right? I remember from day one, so this is especially in middle school. I'm talking about middle school here. My parents would always get mad when I didn't do good on a test. They'd always say, "Oh, you need to study more. You should feel bad about yourself. What the fuck are you doing?" And I feel bad about myself because I'm not doing the thing I know I should be doing. But at the same time, now I realize that a test doesn't mean shit, and that all that matters, if you're in college and you're actually trying to get the degree, all that really matters is you passing the courses and getting the degree. It doesn't matter how well you do, right? It really doesn't, because that degree doesn't even guarantee you a high-paying job. I read somewhere that now 50% of college graduates don't get a job in their field major that they got a degree in. 50% of college graduates right now. Think about that. So there's a 1 in 2 chance that when you graduate, you'll actually get a job in your field, right? I think they said 5 years after they graduate, they still didn't have a job. I mean, come on now. Is it really that big of a thing these days? You gotta think about it. And listen, if you're going right now, don't take it seriously. That's all I can tell you. Because if you take it seriously, you're going to get depressed. You're going to get down on yourself. You're going to feel like a loser, right? And you're going to feel like someone who's inadequate. And this can lead to depression. I remember I was depressed as fuck in middle school, because I hated doing the work. I hated seeing the bad letter grade. I hated just being there. But now I don't really get too rattled anymore. It doesn't, because I know it doesn't matter. It's not going to affect me in 3 to 5 years, right? So that's the mindset you got to have. And here's another thing: you have to also have a plan. Even if you go to college, have a plan to make money online or something like that, because it's not guaranteed that you're going to get something right away when you graduate. It's not guaranteed, right? And so when you graduate, let's say you start your freshman year, you start a YouTube channel, you start a website or something, you start a coaching business, whatever it is. In 4 years, if you put all your fucking might into that, if you put all your damn sexual energy into that, 4 years, man, you're gonna be making a decent amount of money, right? At least enough to support yourself, in low standards, maybe an apartment or something, right? But you have to have a plan, right? You can't just go to university and fuck off and think you're going to be okay when you graduate, right? It's not going to work. So you have to have a plan. And before I close this video, I want to mention one more thing. One more thing. College is marketed towards young people to just, number one, be alcohol and pot addicts, and number two, be sex addicts. Those two things right there are the biggest inhibitors for success, easily, not even a question. So now we have these kids that are going thinking that they're, getting their degree and everything, but they're wasting all their free time just getting fucked up. And here's the thing. You're in class, and that's probably the only time you're not really distracted. Maybe you are in your phone, using your phone or whatever. But outside of class is the time that's so important, because that's the time you can think about shit and plan and work. And use the precious fucking 4 years that you have to actually do something outside of your major or whatever, right? But again, 90% of kids aren't doing that, and it's not their fault. I mean, I can't blame them, because they're not taught they don't know, right? They don't know otherwise. If they knew, they might actually do something, but they don't know. And so you really have to just use your time outside of the classroom. That's really the main message here of this video, because if you don't, in 4 years, I don't know about you, but I don't want to be living with my parents when I'm 23 or 24. That's too late for me. That's too late. I would have preferred to be out by now, but I'm not there yet. Let's just say I don't have the financial resources to get out yet. So when I graduate at 22, I want to get the fuck out. And that should be your goal as a man. You want to get out of your fucking parents' house. You want to get out as soon as possible. And the only way to do that is through financial resources. And I also don't want to work a 9 to 5, or even a part-time job. So you have two options. You can either, this is really it. This is it. You have two options. You can either go to school and get your 4-year degree and piss away all your free time and don't do any learning outside of the classroom, don't do any studying, don't do any introspection, don't do any self-improvement at all, waste time with chicks that are going to be meaningless in 4 years, absolutely meaningless. You'll probably never see them again, right? Waste all your sexual energy, waste all of it, and then in 4 years you're going to still be living with your parents, playing video games in your basement, eating fucking potato chips and pizza and ice cream. And you're going to be lost, and you're going to have that midlife crisis at like 25 or 26, right? Maybe even later if you're still, if you still think your life's good when you're 27. And I'm telling you right now, it doesn't feel good as a man to live with your parents. It really doesn't. And I guarantee you, if you just, fuck off, you're going to be living with your parents, you're going to have a shitty job, and you're going to feel like shit. And you're going to be in the hands of evil. The devil is going to have possession over you. And you're going to not know what to do. And here's the thing, you would have known what to do if you took the time to actually just learn and introspect and access higher intelligence. You would. But you didn't. You didn't take care of your diet. You didn't meditate. You didn't, read. You didn't do things that are going to propel you forward and set the foundation. So now here you are at 23, 24, and you're lost. You don't know what to do. It's not a good place to be. It really isn't. And I dread being there, and that's why I really want to get this message out. Because, listen, we've all been through middle school, high school, some of us college now. And it's like I've had enough of being a slave. I've had enough of working for someone else. I've had enough of listening to a stupid ass professor telling me shit that he doesn't care about. I'm done. I'm just like done with it. I'll put up with it for a couple more years to get my financial resources when I'm done. But it's just I don't know, man. Some people may be able to handle it, a job or whatever, but guys, jobs have limitations. You can't make as much money in a job as you can with a online business or any business. And also in a job, you can't be creative. You're forced to do what that job requires you to do, and you can't really go outside the guidelines for most jobs, right? So there's limitations to working a job. And especially, I see these people, they've been physical therapists for 40 years. And it's like, man, have you explored anything other than that? Have you tried to start your own practice or do anything creative? Look into different healing practices or whatever? No. Do you really want to waste 40 years doing the same thing? If not, then use this time. And for men, we have the most energy right now. I'm 19, and I feel like I'm gonna fucking explode. I feel like I'm literally going to explode. I have so much sexual energy. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And so you can really set yourself up for success right now if you just do the work. And you guys know what the work is. It's working out. It's being creative, doing, whatever creative endeavor you want to make money out of in the future. It's meditating, it's learning, it's reading about your craft, your vocation, right? It's developing the skills that are gonna make you a master one day. And so if you do all that, if you eat right, if you raise the vibration through your chakras and you get up to the third eye, you're set. But if not, then you're gonna be mediocre and you're gonna feel like you're living in hell 24/7. That's what it feels like, guys. When you're addicted to this is kind of off topic, but when you're addicted to porn and you're addicted to I'd say addicted to porn and junk food, when you're addicted to those two things, you're living in hell. You're living in hell. You're in your lower chakras and there's imbalances in there you're not taken care of. So without going on another tangent, that's the main message of this video. I wanted to point out the flaws in the education system, mostly college, even high school. I could go into, guys, it would take me 2 hours to really dive deep into everything. I don't know literally everything, but just based off my observations of being in school and learning through different research and all this is what I know. And so don't waste your time. That's the one thing we can't get back is time. And especially, like I said, I'll say it one more time, but right now you have the most energy you'll ever have in your life. Even if you're older and you're healthy, nothing beats right now. Nothing beats the amount of energy you have right now. So if you use it for the good, you're gonna see the results, and it's gonna make you more likely to succeed and have a fulfilling life. And that's what I hope everyone here desires to achieve. It's what I hope to achieve, and that's what I hope you can accomplish one day, right? So kind of a motivational rant here, but I feel like it's important for us who are in school to really realize that college isn't all that. It's not all that. And in mainstream society, if you go ask people in mainstream society, if you go out and ask the old woman on the street who's 50, if you go and ask her, do you think college is important? She'll say yes. And everyone will say yes, right? But you got to realize that everyone's also brainwashed, right? So don't listen to other people. Trust yourself. Trust that you're doing the right thing, and everything will be okay when your time is due, when in due time, let's say, right? So yeah, thanks for listening, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please make sure to subscribe. And if you have any questions, video recommendations, or just anything, leave it down below. And I will do my best to get back to you. And as always, I hope you guys have a good day. Peace.